My family chose a liar over me, then begged for help after I exposed everything they tried to bury. Hi, I'm Ethan, 28. And a year ago, I was the family disappointment who couldn't hold a proper conversation without rehearsing it in my head first. Now, a guy who sued his brother and his brother's fiancé for defamation, exposed a family of liars, and made them lose everything. But let me tell you how it really started with the kiss I never wanted and a lie that nearly destroyed me. My brother Dean has always been the golden child, quarterback in high school, family favorite, mom's pride, dad's echo chamber. I was the weird one, quiet, socially awkward, diagnosed with autism at 22, which to my parents just meant more excuses. Dean's fiancée, Roxy, knew this too. She saw it the moment we met. She clocked me as the family's weak spot, the one nobody listened to, the one she could mess with and no one would believe. And that's exactly what she did. The real war started with money. Dean came to my place one night, crying, literally crying. Said he owed $15,000 to some sketchy guys from one of Dad's poker games. Swore it was life or death. Swore he'd pay me back in 6 months. I drafted a legal promissory note, 7 interest, 300 month payments. He signed it like it was nothing, and then, of course, never paid. I tried to collect texts, calls, even showing up at his place. Then found out he used his winnings to buy Roxy an engagement ring instead of paying me back. That's when I spoke up at a family dinner. Dean exploded. Called me petty. My mom sided with him. My dad called me a loan shark. Roxy just smirked. I stopped asking for the money. I started documenting everything. Then came the dinner party. It was supposed to be a simple evening, steak, drinks, forced conversation. Kara, girlfriend, couldn't come. Lucky her. After dinner, Dean and Dad went to look at his truck. Mom was in the kitchen. I sat in the living room. Roxy passed me once, then again, then stopped, looked at me, then kissed me, full on, hand on my shoulder, her mouth on mine, and my brain just shut down. I didn't move, didn't kiss back, didn't even breathe. Sensory overload hit me like a freight train, and then Dean walked in. He saw us, saw her, saw me frozen, and didn't ask a single question. He hit me hard, in the jaw, in the ribs, against the wall. Dad didn't stop him. He slapped me too. Told me I had 30 seconds to leave. Told me I wasn't his son anymore. And Roxy? Roxy cried and said I'd assaulted her. Didn't even defend myself. Couldn't. I left in silence. Bloodied, broken, humiliated. Then she posted on Instagram. He touched me. I said no. He didn't stop. She didn't name me, but everyone knew. My phone blew up. Family, friends, co-workers, Kara, everyone. They all believed her. And that's when I realized something. If the world was going to treat me like a villain, then I might as well start writing my own script. After Roxy's Instagram post went live, it felt like my life collapsed in 48 hours. People I'd known for years ghosted me. Mutual friends blocked me. Kara, girlfriend, came over looking pale. Tell me it's not true, she said. I told her everything, the kiss, me freezing, the punch, the lie. She sat there in silence, then said she needed time to think. A week later, got a text. I believe you, but I can't deal with the fallout. I'm sorry, that was it. No call, no visit, just done. But if Roxy thought she'd ruined me for good, she didn't know who she was messing with. My cousin Wes was the only one who stayed in touch. He was always chill, the kind of guy who saw through bullshit from a mile away. When I told him what happened, he didn't hesitate. She picked the wrong target, he said. Let's take her down. So we did. Wes and I started small. We tracked Roxy's movements. Nothing illegal, just passive observation. She had a pattern. Dean worked late 3 nights a week, and every single one of those nights, she was out. 3 weeks in, followed her to an upscale restaurant. She wasn't alone. Her date stood up when she arrived, kissed her, held her hand, touched her face. I recorded everything. 2 hours later, they left together. I followed them to his apartment. She didn't come out until 1 a.m. Caught her with 2 more guys that same week. It wasn't just cheating, it was calculated, scheduled, pre-planned, all while publicly painting herself as a traumatized victim. I set a trap. I texted her from a burner number, told her I had a photo she'd want to see, sent her one her kissing restaurant guy. She agreed to meet. At the caf. I laid out everything. Photos, videos, timelines. She panicked, cried, called me cruel. You framed me, she said. No, you kissed me, you lied, you destroyed my life. And now, giving you one chance to come clean. Gave her 24 hours to record a confession. She resisted, tried negotiating. I didn't budge. She called the next day. I'll do it. But you delete everything after. No, I keep it. Insurance. We met again. She looked broken. I hit record. She confessed to everything. Said she kissed me. Said I froze. Said I never touched her. Said she lied to protect herself. Then she said something I'll never forget. I thought maybe if Dean saw it, he'd break up with me, and I wouldn't have to be the bad guy. I saved the recording in 3 places. Then told her the next step. You're telling Dean. In person, she didn't want to, but she knew she had no choice. 2 days later, I knocked on their door. Dean opened it. His face went white. Roxy has something to say, I said. She told him. Stumbled through the truth. Cried. Dean looked at me, speechless. I'll see you in court, I said, because I had a promissory note. I had a recording. I had a lawsuit to file, and that was just the beginning. I filed in small claims court the next day. $15,000 loan principal, plus interest, plus 6 months of missed payments. $22,000 total. Dean thought I was bluffing right up until the court papers landed on his doorstep. He tried calling. You're seriously suing family over money? No, I'm suing the guy who punched me and never paid me back. The hearing was fast. Dean admitted he borrowed the money, admitted he signed the note. His defense? It was predatory. 7% is too high. The judge looked bored. Were you coerced into signing this? No, Dean muttered. I handed over the screenshots. Texts of him bragging about poker wins before the loan, thanking me after, promising repayment. Then the one where he said, "You're not gonna sue your own brother, relax." Judge ruled in my favor. Full amount, plus court fees. 60 days to pay. He did end single quotes T.so I filed for wage garnishment. That's when the real fun began. Dean's employer docked $400 per paycheck. He called me screaming, saying I was ruining his life. I said, funny, that's exactly how I felt when you let your fiancé accuse me of assault in front of our parents. 3 weeks later, I filed the second lawsuit, civil court. This time, I wasn't just going for money, it was going for blood. Charges: Dean, assault, defamation, emotional distress. Roxy, false accusation, defamation, emotional distress. This time I got a lawyer. Wes found him a contingency guy who smelled settlement money from a mile away. He loved the case. Clean, documented, jury's gonna hate her. First deposition? Roxy, my lawyer played the recording, her voice admitting she kissed me. I froze, and she lied. Her lawyer objected. She was coerced. Coerced how? My lawyer asked. By being shown her own behavior? Then we showed Roxy's Instagram accusation. Her texts to Kara, her DMs to my coworkers. Public, specific, malicious. Every lie she told became a separate count of defamation. My lawyer tallied them like receipts. Dean's deposition wasn't better. He admitted to hitting me. Why? I believed Roxy. Did you ask for evidence? No, and now? He squirmed. She confessed because he forced her. You mean, he showed her proof she was cheating and gave her 24 hours to tell the truth? Dean looked like he wanted the floor to open up and swallow him. That was when I made my next move. I reported Dad's poker games to the police. Every illegal one. I had dates, social media posts, even photos. They raided his house on a Saturday night. 8 guys arrested, including Dean. Dad called me from jail. You destroyed the family. No, I said. You destroyed it when you raised your hand instead of asking your son a single question. He hung up. By the end of the month, both Dean and Dad were facing gambling charges. Dean got demoted at work, lost $20,000 in salary. Then the IRS showed up. Turns out, years of unreported gambling winnings? Not a great idea. Dean owed $18,000. Dad? $42K. The dominoes were falling, and I wasn't done pushing. The IRS placed liens on everything: Dad's house, Dean's condo, even their cars. Dean, who once mocked my one-bedroom apartment, now couldn't afford his own mortgage. Within 4 months, the condo was foreclosed. He moved into a sketchy apartment in the bad part of town. No more poker nights. No more flashy watch. Just reality hitting him in monthly installments. Roxy? She lasted 2 months after the foreclosure. Moved out. Left a vague Instagram post. Some paths just aren't meant to align. Translation: I can't live like a peasant. I didn't even have to lift a finger, but remember, my civil case was still rolling. And now the defendants were broke and desperate. Their lawyers begged for mediation. My lawyer, smirking the whole time, said we'd consider. Meanwhile, Dad showed up at my door, thinner, hollow-eyed, not angry, begging. Please, he said. The IRS took everything. They're garnishing my pension. I'll lose the house. I'm in a motel now. I stared at the man who once slapped me and said I was no longer his son. You told me I didn't exist. I was wrong, he said. I see that now. Please, I need 20. Oh. You mean like Dean paid me back? That was different. No, I cut in. That was exactly the same, he cried. Real tears. The kind I'd waited my whole life to see. I watched. Didn't flinch. Then quietly said, you should have thought about this before choosing a liar over your son. I shut the door. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel cruel either. It felt like justice. 16 months after the lawsuit started, we hit mediation. They offered 15. My lawyer laughed out loud. Try again, he said. We've got physical assault, emotional trauma, career impact, reputational destruction, legal fees, public defamation, plus the recorded confession. We countered at 70. They whined they didn't have it. We showed asset reports. They had enough if they stopped trying to live like influencers. We settled somewhere between $35,000 and $60,000. I won't say exact, but it was more than Dean's truck cost and less than Roxy's skincare routine. But money wasn't even the best part. As part of the agreement, both had to submit written confessions, legally binding, public record. Dean admitted to assaulting me without cause. Admitted he believed lies over family. Admitted he'd failed as a brother. Roxy admitted to everything. Kissing me without consent, lying about the assault, spreading false accusations, messaging my girlfriend. Co-workers and friends with fabrication side posted their confessions on social media. Sent them to everyone who had seen the original accusation. Every cousin, every friend. Kara too. No caption. Just truth. Kara never replied. Didn't need her to, because this wasn't about getting her back. It was about getting me back. The day after I posted the confessions, my phone lit up like it was New Year's Eve. Most messages were dead quiet for 18 months. Now, suddenly full of apologies. Hey man, I had no idea. I feel terrible for not reaching out. I always thought something seemed off. I didn't respond to any of them. If it took a legal settlement for people to believe me, they weren't worth the reply. But one message did get to me. It was from Kara. A long wall of text about how she'd always known I was innocent. How scared she'd been. How complicated everything felt. She said she made the wrong choice. That she missed me. She wanted to meet. I agreed out of curiosity, not hope. We met at the same coffee shop where she used to wait for me after my shifts. She looked nervous. Spoke fast. Said all the right things. I should have stood by you. I just didn't want the drama. I was overwhelmed. I didn't know how to handle it. I asked one question. Did you believe me when it happened? She looked down. Yes, I never doubted you. Then why did you leave? She paused. Because it was easier. I nodded. Finished my coffee. I don't hate you, Kara, but that guy who needed your belief. He died the night my dad hit me, and everyone else let it happen. You've changed, she said. You've gotten cold. No, I got smart. She asked if we could start over. I asked if she would have reached out had I lost the case. She didn't answer. So I did. Take care of yourself. I left. She sent a few more texts after that. I didn't block her. I just never answered. Because forgiveness isn't owed. Especially when your silence costs someone everything. Around that time, I got a promotion at work, logistics coordinator. I started studying supply chain certification on the side. Focused, disciplined, functional. And then, one day I met Quinn. We were in the library. I was checking out a book on inventory forecasting. She was behind the desk, You look like you're prepping for something serious, she said. I am. Trying to plan for chaos, she laughed. You'd love cataloging then. Chaos with the decimal system. We talked for 20 minutes. Most natural conversation I'd had in years. Turned out she was a librarian with a soft spot for old sci-fi and spreadsheets. And she asked about my autism not like a quiz, but like, she actually wanted to understand how I experienced the world. On our fourth date, I told her everything. About Dean, about Roxy, about the lies, the lawsuit, the settlement. She listened, didn't flinch, didn't rush to insert sympathy. Just let me talk. And then she said, I'm glad you got out. Not, that's horror. Not, how could they? Just, I'm glad you got out. I knew right then I wasn't trying to rebuild my old life. I was building something new, something better. 6 months after the lawsuit wrapped, my dad came knocking again. He looked small, not just in size, he'd lost weight, sure, but in presence. The man who once slapped me across the face for breathing wrong now stood in my hallway like a ghost. He'd lost the house. IRS had garnished what was left of his pension. No more poker games. No more power. He was living in a motel off the highway. Said he needed help. $20,000 to stop the foreclosure auction. I have nothing left, he said. His voice cracked. You're my son. No, I said. You stopped calling me that when you kicked me out after believing a lie. His hands trembled. I was angry. I was wrong. I know that now. I'm sorry. You were angry, repeated. So you disowned your son. And now that your life's in pieces, you want help. I made a mistake. No, I said. You made a series of choices. And now, they've caught up to you. He was crying. Actual tears. I thought about being 11, watching him take my birthday money and never pay it back. Thought about him slapping me, believing Roxy without a second of doubt. Thought about 18 months of silence. I opened the door wider not to let him in. Just to point at the hallway. Leave. Don't come back. He did. Didn't say a word. I didn't feel vindicated. Didn't feel powerful. I felt done. Month later, Mom messaged me. Said she was filing for divorce. Said she understood if I never wanted to speak to her again, but asked if we could meet. Just once. I agreed. Not because I missed her, but because her message felt different. We met at a quiet cafe. She looked older than I remembered. Tired. Lighter in a strange way. The divorce cost me almost everything, she said. But it was worth it. I waited. I just wanted you to know. I failed you. Not just that night, but for years. I see it now. And I'm sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just needed you to know that I understand. She didn't ask for money. Didn't ask for a second chance. She just owned it. I nodded. Okay, okay. You believe me? No, I said. Okay means I heard you. That's it. She smiled a little. That's more than I deserve. We meet for coffee now, maybe once a month. She never pushes. Never brings up the past unless I do. She's different. Or trying to be. And that counts for something. As for Dean, he disappeared for a while after the settlement. Moved across town. Got a new job, less money, worse hours. Friends dropped him one by one. No one wants to be the guy who bet everything on a liar. Roxy, last I heard, moved to Arizona, bartending somewhere. Her real estate career was destroyed after her confession became public. No agency would touch her. She lost everything, just like I did. Only difference? I rebuilt. 10 months after the settlement, Dean showed up at my door. No call. No warning. Just him standing there in a wrinkled hoodie, looking like he hadn't slept in days. I've been thinking, he said, about what happened. What Roxy did. What I did. I didn't say a word. I want to apologize. A real apology. Not the court-ordered crap. Still, I said nothing. I was wrong. About everything. I should have asked questions before throwing punches. Should have believed my brother. His voice cracked. You didn't deserve any of it. I stepped outside, closed the door behind me. Didn't invite him in. What do you want, Dean? Nothing. Just wanted to say it. That I get it now. That I was a coward. I nodded. You were. He looked down. I don't expect forgiveness. I just hope. Maybe someday, we could talk again. Maybe get coffee. Just something. No, I said. Some bridges don't get rebuilt. He looked like I'd slapped him. But I kept going. This wasn't a mistake, Dean. It was a choice. A string of choices. You believed a cheater over your own brother. You hit me. You humiliated me. You stayed silent for 18 months. And now, you want a clean slate? He swallowed hard. I don't want anything. I just thought, maybe you'd want peace. I have peace, I said. What I don't want is you in my life. He looked gutted. I understand. Good. Then understand this. If you ever show up here again, I'll file a restraining order. He stood there for a second, like he might say more. But he didn't, just nodded once and walked away. I watched him go. Felt nothing. And oh triumph. No sadness, just closure. Some people think forgiveness is noble. I think boundaries are nobler, because sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is say, no, that was enough. I'm 29 now, and for the first time in my life, I don't wake up bracing for impact. I work full-time as a logistics coordinator, got my certification last spring. It's quiet, organized, predictable. Exactly the kind of environment where my brain doesn't have to fight itself just to function. I used the settlement money for a down payment on a small 2-bedroom house. Nothing flashy, just mine. Paid off the last of my debts. Invested the rest. Set up a savings plan. And Wes? He's still my ride or die. We hike most weekends now. Turns out forests are perfect when your nervous system needs silence. Quinn's still around too. 8 months and counting. No games. No drama. No expectations beyond honesty. She doesn't walk on eggshells around my diagnosis. Doesn't try to fix me. She just asks, listens, adapts, without making me feel like a chore. She once said, "You're not broken. Your brain just uses a different operating system." I told her about everything early on. Roxy, Dean, the lawsuit. She didn't flinch, just squeezed my hand and said, "I'm glad you fought back. We're not rushing anything. No moving in, no ring talk. Just 2 people showing up for each other, day after day. And for now, that's enough." Roxy's out of state. Real estate career in shambles. Her name is practically SEO poison at this point. Last I heard, she was bartending in Arizona, still trying to reinvent herself. Dad lives in a studio apartment and still blames me for everything. I haven't spoken to him since he begged at my door. I don't plan to. Mom's trying. We do coffee once a month. She doesn't ask for forgiveness. Just listens when I need her to. That's more than I ever expected. And Dean? Well, Dean lost everything. The condo, the job, the reputation. But the real loss? That was me. And I think he knows it now. The truth is, I don't think about them much anymore. Because I'm too busy living the life I built for myself on my terms. With people who see me. Anyone out there who's been lied about, hit, humiliated, or discarded like they didn't matter. You are not disposable. You are not what they said. And you're allowed to burn the bridge they set fire to first. Just make sure you walk away holding the match. Thanks for reading. Ethan.